What's poppin', y'all? After Sneako got brutally attacked randomly on stream in the streets of New York City, he decided to hop out and do a tour of Southeast Asia and Oceania, which would be abruptly ended when he got banned and deported from Australia. Now, this all started off with the Sky News Post, which is the Australian news page, and they would report the following. Tony Burke has canceled the visa of the anti-Semitic American internet streamer Sneako and slapped him with a lifetime ban, Sky News can reveal. And it says, Sky News first reported on Monday that the divisive streamer, whose real name has been given a visa by Home Affairs and had arrived in Australia. Mr. Burke told Sky News Sneako would never be able to return to Australia. Never. That's harsh. Our government has made it very clear that we will use every power available to us to protect our community from people coming to this country to spread hatred, he said. The clauses that have been used to cancel this visa were amended by the parliament early this year. That means it's not simply the current visa that's canceled. Sneako's a U.S. citizen, so he gets a default visa with his passport to go to Australia. A lot of other nations, they need to apply to a consulate to get a visa to go to Australia. So the default visa that he gets by being a U.S. citizen, they're canceling that. And he can't apply for a new one either. That means it's simply not the current visa that's canceled. There is now a lifetime ban preventing him from ever applying for another visa to Australia. We are a better country when he is somewhere else. And then they talk about him being banned from various social media platforms. And they're also saying that he called for certain people to be killed, which I have never seen or gotten even close to seeing. He's never done that intentionally or called violence to any group of people whatsoever.
In this next clip, Sneako also threatened to eliminate Jews. He's saying a well-known anti-Semitic slogan, which is widely recognized as a jihadist chant used as a threat towards Jews. Right now, he's here already in Australia. That's him with Sonny Bill Williams this morning. You might recognise him from his feature on Louis Theroux's recent documentary Manosphere. Now, explain this. How was he given a visa when he's been banned from multiple social media platforms numerous times over the years, repeatedly banned from YouTube? It seems currently banned from Instagram, banned from social media, yet allowed into Australia. These are the kinds of people the Albanese government is letting in Australia, even while they're holding Royal Commission hearings into anti-Semitism. They wouldn't give visas to regular Israelis.
And this is really unfortunate because this is the biggest headline to come out of his entire tour. And that just goes to show that it's just the negativity that spreads. And that's also what I said is one of the negative aspects of being a live streamer that isn't PR friendly or some can consider divisive. Because he's meeting up with world leaders in Malaysia. I think he met up with like a prime minister. He did a very, very positive run of streams showing these different countries, showed up to the Philippines for the first time in who knows how long, and I believe he's half Filipino. So he did all of these positive things. None of that was spreading everywhere. People are probably going to be in this comment section, and you're probably like, yo, really? I haven't seen anything from Sneako since he got hit. Yeah, exactly. That's why you cannot... Now, you can't control what other people do, but you should be cognizant. If you feel a certain way towards somebody that you don't really watch much, then you're probably only seeing the low light. You're not seeing other things that they're doing, and you should reconsider. But yeah, like I was saying, he would reply to this and said, no, I'm just going home, and show a photo of him in the airplane. And then he continues and says, I do not fear you. And he says something quite haunting, which is, I am ready to die. And then he says, I was being followed by federal agents in Australia. Now, what they're saying here is because people were saying like, yo, he was actually in Australia. What do you mean you deported him? Well, they said Monday he arrived and they said it was canceled on Tuesday evening. And that's when he was thrown out of the country. And if he had refused to leave, he would have been placed in immigration detention. The coalition had called for his visa to be canceled. Shadow Home Affairs Minister Jonathan Dunham said it was without question that the government should cancel Sneako's visa. For anyone who goes and Googles this individual, this strange character is a misogynist. He praises He is an anti-Semite, Mr. Dunham told Sky News on Monday. He said it was just the latest exposure of Australia's broken visa system. This is crazy. And then during his visit to Australia, Sneako visited Ahmed Hraichi, also known as the Muslim Undertaker, who was the father of convicted ISIS member Borhan Hraichi. Now, this I did not know. He did have a video saying he met the Muslim Undertaker, or he interviewed him. I didn't watch that. So I don't know if this was like topping. I did not watch that. I did see a couple of pieces of content, though, from Indonesia and Malaysia and Philippines, and it looked great. I didn't hear anything about no Undertaker. But this is an uncommon behavior from Australia. And I do think the Australian government is so far removed from the Australian people, because I've met a ton of Aussies in my time, and I've never met an Aussie that I didn't like. Like, these guys are just a good time. They're chill, they're cool, they're just trying to vibe out. They're always positive. They're bringing good energy. They're just cool people. Like I said, I've never met an Aussie that I didn't like. Now, Brits, you Brits, and I'm specifically talking about white Brits, like not the Arab Brits, not the African Brits, Nigerians, Ghanaians. That's the majority, but generally speaking, not the African Brits, not even the Asian Brits, which there are a few of, but just Brits are a hit or miss. Like, sometimes you're like, yo, what the hell is wrong with dude? This guy's weird. Or they're just off-putting. But Aussies, cool people. And they're just so free-spirited and chill. You wouldn't think that their government has been moving like this for a minute. Like, you're probably thinking, okay, like Sneako, he was affiliated with the Club of Cost. He was with Ye, which, by the way, Ye himself was banned. He was blocked, or I don't know if he wasn't permanently banned, but he was blocked from entering Australia. I don't know how long that's going to last. Like I said, Ye's success over the years, people are gonna not turn a blind eye, but they're gonna be like, okay, we forgive you. But the Home Affairs Minister, Tony Burke, said that they canceled his valid visa when the song Double H was released in May. This was last year, which is very interesting because he's married to an Australian, Bianca Sensori. She's an architect. It's funny because the BBC refers to her as Australian designer. Now, she's not just a designer, she is an architect. That is its own license that we got to put some respect on. I have a couple of friends that, well, one of them became an architect and quit, and the other one tried to become an architect and realized that it would be miserable and quit. So yeah, this is not an easy road. That's why we got to give respect to the architects and their title. So yeah, the visa cancellation, and they were talking about it because of the Double H song. So they revoked his visa. I don't think he was intending on going there. But also, Chris Brown, when he got a DV conviction, he got refused in 2015, so he wasn't able to tour there, and I still think he hasn't been able to tour there. I remember there was conversation maybe last year about Chris Brown potentially going back, but we haven't seen anything like that. Candace Owens was blocked over like character test concerns and just... She was supposed to actually go there, I think, like do a show or a tour or something like that. A speaking tour, I believe it was. And the reason why is because they said that her visit was not in the national interest. Yes. And they said from downplaying the impact of the Holocaust with comments about physician through to the claims that Muslims started slavery, Candace Owens has the capacity to incite discord in almost every direction. And this is Tony Burke speaking once again. So this Tony Burke guy, not only did he ban Tyler the Creator, Sneako, and also Ye, he also was the one that banned Candace Owens. And Snoop Dogg, I believe he wasn't able to go for a very long time because of his criminal history, which is kind of normal. Like if you've got a criminal history, you can't really go to Canada. If you've got a criminal history in Canada, you can't really go to the US. Same deal with Australia. So Snoop, that got overturned and he was allowed to go after a period of time. But Tyler, the Creator, for a very long time, because of his lyrics, he wasn't allowed to go to Australia, and he would constantly be tweeting about it. He's like, yo, Australia, please let me go there. And it was over misogynistic lyrics. Now, this was over 10 years ago, so it wasn't this Tony Burke guy that got him banned. But that just goes to show, like, circling back to my point about Aussies being such chill people, the Aussie people don't seem to be the same people that would be like, yeah, dude, ban that guy because he had some song lyrics. And we're not talking about Ye's song. We're talking about a Tyler, the Creator. And Eminem, I don't think he was ever officially banned, but there was a lot of protests back in the day. And just people upset with his violent and offensive lyrics. But I don't think he ever got officially banned, which is kind of crazy. And also, I think they did a little bit of gaslighting when they said that Tyler, the Creator, was never really banned and he just thought he was banned. Like, come on now. You can't be doing that. I think this was completely performative and quite gross by the Australian government, because if you were banning Sneako for anything that he did that was controversial, it would have made sense to ban his visa or revoke his visa when that incident happened. Like, Ye wasn't trying to go to Australia when he dropped that song, and you guys revoked his visa while that happened. Yeah, you could say it's reactive and maybe that's performative too, but it at least aligns. The timeline here doesn't align at all. Not only did Sneako not play that song at that club, but whatever, he was present there. It would make sense to ban everybody associated with that, which we didn't see that. And then to wait months later and to allow him into the country and then to ban him when he's just been on, I don't want to say a PR tour because that makes it sound like it wasn't done out of his own interest, when it clearly is done out of his own interest because his views took a significant cut. But after he's just been positively showing different cultures and meeting different leaders, and it's honestly all positive and not saying anything negative or can be interpreted as hateful, it's like retroactively going when he shows up to your country already, so you let him in, then you're like, yo, you got to get the hell out of here, when he didn't even say anything there. I think is really performative, and I think it may have had to do with the guy that he met up with. So I think that guy's involved, or he has the eyes of the government, and once they heard that he was probably going to Sneako was linking up with him, and he was going to amplify that guy's message, who is an Australian or an Australian national, to the rest of the world, that's when they said, okay, let's get this guy out of here. He's not coming here just to kick it in the Gold Coast and do some street interviews with some people that are surfing. That's my guess. Although it is a bit of a reach, the guess about him doing the interview with this Undertaker and them hearing about it. But I do believe that it is 100% performative and it's in bad taste. Like, the guy's been doing cool stuff in the lead up, going to these countries, and now you're getting him out of there. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. All my Aussies, I know there's like at least 10 to 15 of you guys. What's the deal? What's the deal with the government? Why are they tripping off of this? Not this in particular, but why are they tripping generally speaking? Let me know. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.